Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Stay tuned for politics and religion.
The son of Hamas has won asylum in the United States of America. Mossab Yusuf, the son of one of Hamas's founders and a former spy for Israel, has been granted asylum in the United States after successfully a Department of Homeland Security effort to deport him. From 1997 to 2007, Yusuf aided the Israeli security forces after he became disillusioned with the brutality and the hatred of Hamas and other terrorist organizations. Several senior Israeli security officials said Yusuf was by far the most valuable informant Israel ever had in his battle against Palestinian terrorism. Shortly after he began helping Israel, Yusuf secretly converted to Christianity. Just recently, he published his book, Son of Hamas. It details his spiritual journey as well as his activities on Israel's behalf. Homeland Security actually used part of the information in his book to start deportment proceedings against him. However, Israel departed from normal procedure and actually sent some of their intelligence people to testify on Yusuf's behalf. And the good news is that just within the last day or so, he was granted asylum to protect him. Yusuf claimed that if he were sent back to the West Bank, which was his home, that would be like a death sentence to him because all he had done for the nation of Israel. And, of course, that certainly would have been true. Now, at the same time, another story from another front, Iran has now canceled the plan to send its ship to Gaza. You know by now that Lebanon was going to send a ship down to run the Gazan blockade, and Iran was going to send a ship down. However, Iran now says that it is not going to do that in defiance of Israeli warnings. It said that because of Israeli restrictions, they would not send the ship down. Now, I think it's a lot more than that because the Israeli restrictions were already in place when the original decision was made. However, there were 11 American warships that steamed into the Persian Gulf, and they were threatening to board this ship and to examine it, which would have been a real humiliating experience for Iran, and Iran would have been able to do nothing about it because the United States of America has an excuse now to board all of Iran's ships to check them to see if they are in violation of the recent UN Security Council sanctions resolution that was passed within the last couple of weeks or so. So everything has entered a new stage, but for the first time, Iran has been forced to back down in its confrontation. Now, Iran says it will send people to Lebanon, and some of them will actually board the ship from Lebanon that's coming down against the Israeli blockade. Whether they do that or not is going to be very interesting to find out. In the meantime, a lot of different reports are saying concerning Iran that Iran has enough nuclear equipment, enough radiation to start 2 bombs, to actually make 2 nuclear bombs. And so this is adding fuel to the fire towards moving against Iran to stop Iran from obtaining the nuclear bomb. Most of Iran's neighbors do not want Iran to actually come into possession of the bomb. A poll has recently taken, and almost every single nation, including the Arab nations, do not want Iran to become a nuclear power. So consequently, there's a lot of sentiment against that development right now. And at the same time, President Obama has been meeting with the King of Saudi Arabia, and they have been discussing the two-state solution. It's almost like the Saudis have switched sides. I mean, with this report that Israel actually has equipment on the ground in Saudi Arabia, that they actually have planes and different military supplies located at a Saudi base very near the Iranian border in case it becomes absolutely essential to move against Iran to stop it from coming into possession of the nuclear weapons. With this report circulating openly in world news, it is really changing everything, and Obama's trying to take advantage of this to not only stop Iran from getting the bomb, but to push forward peace in the Middle East. It's interesting. World planners believe a system of global governance, education in interfaithism, and a world economic system are essential for a world order of peace and security. Do you believe that world government, a global economy, and interfaith dialogue are good goals to pursue? We'll talk about it today on Politics and Religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it.
President Obama must be listening to Politics and Religion, because we talked the last 2 days about the immigration problem. And what does he do? Well, he makes a speech this morning about the immigration problem. So I'm sure he's listening. You never know who you may be addressing when you place your phone calls here on Politics and Religion. But we do know for sure that there are many people in high places that are reading Endtime magazine, that are listening to Politics and Religion. And, well, they should be, because, we have a source here that none of the other major talk shows have, and that is the Bible. Our source has never been wrong. As long as we understand what it says properly, the Bible has never been wrong. The prophecies have always come to pass.